Peace, family, peace, peace, peace. So I wanted to do a video on forgiveness, okay? Somebody had wrote up under one of my videos, but forgiveness takes away from all those words. So my interpretation of what he wrote was that, when you forgive somebody, it takes away the words maybe that you have said to the person, or maybe what the person has said to you. Forgiveness takes away those words, okay? Now, what words was he talking about? I'm not really sure. But one of the great books that I have read, Psycho-Cybernetics, and I'm still rereading this book. This book is such a powerful book. This and The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Okay. And it talks about forgiveness, right? Your reasons for forgiveness are important. In therapeutic forgiveness, we cancel out the debt of the other person, not because we have decided to be generous or do him a favor, or because we are morally superior person. We cancel the debt, mark it null and void, not because we have made the other person pay sufficiently for his wrong, but because we have come to recognize that the debt itself is not valid. True forgiveness comes only when we are able to see and emotionally accept that there is and was nothing for us to forgive. We should have not condemned or hated the other person in the first place. Not long ago, I went to a luncheon, also attended by a number of clergymen. The subject of forgiveness came up in general in a case of the adulterous woman whom Jesus forgave in particular. I listened to a very learned discussion of why Jesus was able to forgive the woman, how he forgave her, how his forgiveness was a rebuke to the churchmen of his time who were ready to stone her, etc. Jesus didn't forgive the adulterous woman. I resisted the temptation to shock these gentlemen by pointing out that actually Jesus never forgave the woman at all. Nowhere in the narrative as it appears in the New Testament is the word forgive or forgiveness used or even hinted at, nor can it be reasonably implied from the facts as given in the story. We are told merely that after her accusers had left, Jesus asked the woman, "Hath no man condemned thee?" When she answered in the negative, he said, "Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more." You cannot forgive a person unless you have first condemned him. Jesus never condemned the woman in the first place, so there was nothing for him to forgive. He recognized her sin or her mistake, but did not feel called upon to hate her for it. He was able to see before the fact what you and I must see after the fact in practicing therapeutic forgiveness, that we ourselves err when we hate a person because of his mistakes, or when we condemn him or classify him as a certain type of person, confusing his person with his behavior, or when we mentally incur a debt that the other person must pay before being restored to our good graces and our emotional acceptance. Whether you ought to do this, or whether you should do it, or can reasonably be expected to do it, is a matter that is outside the scope of this book in my own field. I can only tell you as a doctor that if you will do it, you will be far happier, healthier, and obtain more peace of mind. However, I would like to point out that this is what therapeutic forgiveness is, and that it is the only type of forgiveness that really works. And if forgiveness is anything less than this, we might as well stop talking about it. Forgive yourself as well as others. Not only do we incur emotional wounds from others, most of us inflict them on ourselves. We beat ourselves over the head with self-condemnation, remorse, and regret. We beat ourselves down with self-doubt. We cut ourselves out with excessive guilt, remorse, and regret, or attempts to emotionally live in the past. Excessive guilt is an attempt to make right in the past something we did wrong or thought of as wrong in the past. Emotions are used correctly and appropriately when they help us to respond or react appropriately to some reality in a present environment. Since we cannot live in the past, we cannot appropriately react emotionally to the past. The past can be simply written off, closed, forgotten insofar as our emotional reactions are concerned. We do not need to take an emotional position one way or the other regarding detours that might have taken us off course in the past. The important thing is our present direction and our present goal. We need to recognize our own errors as mistakes. Otherwise, we could not correct course. Steering or guidance would be impossible. But it is fatal to hate or condemn ourselves for our past mistakes. And then the book goes on, you make mistakes, mistakes do not make you. Psycho-Cybernetics.